Hi Pisces, Sun, Moon and Rising, welcome to Ethernal Realms and welcome to your May eclipse reading. So this one's a lunar eclipse, which is a time of the full moon. We have the Sun in Taurus and the Moon in Scorpio, so it's a Scorpio lunar eclipse. We had an Aries solar eclipse, which was the first chapter of this particular eclipse season, and that took place on the 19th or the 20th of April, depending on where you live. And that was an interesting one. I would suggest you watch the zodiac specific reading for that, because it gives you a detail on what's happening in the external world, and this reading will give you more context on what triggers are happening through the soul, through your inner self, and that develops into an external action. All right, so it gives you a more wholesome picture by looking at those two things. Also, there was a very interesting eclipse in itself. You will notice in the astrology that I talked about that, but just to recap a little bit, that is the first of a couple of eclipses that will come up in the Aries and Libra axis. We're not quite there yet, but we're already making the shift. As soon as that eclipse happened, the Sun and Moon moved into Taurus and activated the Taurus section of your house, i.e. your third house of communication, mindset, travel, and siblings as well. With its, the fateful encounters you might find, like suddenly a rise in communication, some plans, some ideas could come up to your mind, some applications you want to make and things like that. But because it has that Aries flavor, it is kind of like, I need to do something about this. I need to go forward. I must take initiative. This is for the sake of my finances, for my self-worth, and so on. Right after that, the next day, actually, Mercury went retrograde. And at the time of this lunar eclipse, Mercury is still retrograde. And this is in the sign of Taurus as well. So we have the Sun, we have Uranus, the North Node, and also Mercury in retro. So we're having to process a lot of this eclipse energy from an inside-out type of perspective. We have a lack of clarity in terms of physical, tangible results that could come out of it. There's still many things needing to be decided. And honestly, Mercury retro time is perfect for research, recuperation, and just absorbing the information that has happened so far. So it kind of gives you a nice little canvas to prepare yourself before it moves direct again, and it conjoins Uranus, therefore bringing in some brilliant new insights and breakthroughs and breakdowns of old structures and so on, therefore bringing in a lot more clarity. Okay, a lot of wonderful things happening here. Your ruler, Neptune, is in your sign still, so you are highly intuitive, and Neptune is direct at this time, so your imagination is very high, your creativity is super good. So find some time to either spend in the moment or delve into something that is intuitive, spiritual, or religious as a practice for you, which can help you focus and find clarity within yourself, because that way you can distill all of this chaotic eclipse energy in a much more sharp and focused manner. Okay, that really helps for mutable signs, I find. All right, so we have the Queen of Swords coming through. Okay, this is the Aquarius and Gemini Libra energies. We have the Seven of Cups. This is that active imagination and the daydreaming that I was feeling here. You have some options in your mind. You're feeling compelled towards multiple directions, but it's all like spinning castles in the air, right? It's not literal. It's not an actual castle. You imagine things would turn out a certain way. And of course, imagination is an extremely powerful tool, but we also need to understand that reality might be something a little bit different from what we had imagined. We also have Justice, which corresponds to the Libra card. Okay, two air signs, interesting. We have the Five of Cups, okay, and we have the Strength card. Very strong stuff. Okay, so Strength, I've noticed that whenever the Strength comes up in like any reading, it acts as a booster, okay? Like all of this more, or all of this much more highlighted. It brings into focus how you deal with things. Okay, so starting from Libra, let's start with that. It's right in the center, and it started with an air sign as well. So for you, Libra falls in the 8th house. It does not have to be Libra, by the way, but for example, it can be Gemini and also Aquarius. We're talking about the 4th house, 8th house, and your 12th houses. These are the more private, more internal houses. So there are some plans and strategies you might be thinking about for the way forward in order to bring your own life in balance or bring your partnerships in more harmony. How to develop better communication, for example. How do you convey all of these myriad of thoughts that are spinning in your mind, and things like that could become a topic here. And when we talk about the 4th house, we look at what our inner self is saying, what our private self is, what do we want to do when we are all by ourselves, okay? And the 8th house talks about the psyche or the subconscious. Are there any fears that are in the background towards making those inner self reality come through? Like, you can have a very wonderful imagination, and it can develop into something very gorgeous if you set your mind to it, if you put in the resources, the effort, and take the initiative as well. There are multiple things that need to play hand in hand for something to come to full expression, right? So you are over here looking at, so these are my goals, and these are my dreams, and these are my fears and illusions, okay? So now we need to weigh up these things. We need to address the difficulties that I'm having right now and find either way of coping with it, or fixing it, or accepting it, or whatever way that you can resolve the feeling that you are getting. You're a water sign, so you understand the feeling conversation. The approach you're taking is a little bit more logical and analytical at this time. The questions that you're having are more incisive, okay? And I love that for you. The head and the heart, when they combine, it's like wonders, isn't it? So yes, you have that going on here. There is this bit of rise in passion that's coming through here. There's this inner resolve that's coming up to the surface, and that's what is driving this whole balance to take place. All right, so you have your dreams, you have certain things that have not worked, or you're disappointed with certain things that are there in your life currently, which you don't want to continue having in the future, right? So you need to figure out certain ways. It can even be like workaround methods. Justice deals with the legal system, so you might be wondering, okay, so what's legal, what's possible for me, for what can I get some additional documentation and maybe make it possible for me, and things like that. You can also be connecting with some consultants, or someone who's very skilled in this type of profession, depending on what you're dealing with exactly, but they can really help you out. Or you have someone in your life who is an air sign, sun, moon, or rising, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, any of these things, and also Leo is an indicator. They can really very much help you out to deal with certain things that you don't acknowledge within yourself. The 5 of Cups is like, oh no, this is gone, that's not working out, this is not happening, I have no idea where to go or what to do, I just feel very stuck, okay? Or I feel disappointed that I'm stuck. That type of vibe. But the Strength is like, it's okay to feel like this once in a while. It's at this point that we decide to turn things around. So acknowledge the feeling very well. We don't need to stay with it. Let's brainstorm, okay, with these air suits again. Let's brainstorm and talk about it. Let's discuss, have an open and honest communication, and see what can be figured out in this situation here. And this goes for like applications that you're making as well. Some things might not work out, but you have many other options available to you. It can be that one thing you were imagining would be your cup is not really yours, but then there's like a whole bunch more. So you're like, okay, fine, I'm gonna give this a fair shot. I'm gonna keep my mind open and see what feels right to me. And in that mindset, you're actually taking actions which are the truest, most passionate towards you, the things that you've always wanted. Okay, so one door closing is opening to you your kingdom. All right, wow. So castles, see, that's what I was getting, like imagination is a powerful tool. The moment I said spinning castles in the air, and it's not really true, right? I had this voice in my head that said, don't undersell the power of imagination. This is what they rule. Excellent. I love it. Okay, we have the Finch coming through next. New opportunities and choices are opening to you now. Claim them. There you go. There you go, Pisces. Wow. All right, then we have Canary, which says, step forward now and sing your song. There is power in finding your voice. Absolutely. Absolutely. I did mention the heaviness the prominence, actually, not really heaviness, the prominence of the Taurian side of your chart, which is the third house. The way that you communicate, expressing your voice. Some of you might be singers and you're singing very passionately. You might be singing about something that has been difficult for you, or some things that you've been imagining you might get to, but now you are. You're putting aside all your hesitances so that you can express everything that is truly you. So your voice is wonderful. The expression of it is very wonderful. I think your heart speaks out very transparently, and people can hear it as well if that is something that applies to you. Even apart from that, we were talking about open and honest communication and discussion, whether this is in a professional front or a personal relationship. This dynamic itself can give you a lot of ideas. It can show you a different path. It shows two different options. The Queen of Swords is never depicted as having two options, except in this deck. So it's very interesting. It's sort of emphasizing on the Libran side of things, because we do need to understand, we do need to see both sides of the story before we make any conclusion, and Justice symbolizes that as well. But in this deck, Justice is indicating that you need to have the fierceness to take the right decision once you know what is the right decision. So here the Queen is weighing up the options, and Justice is like, even if it's ruthless love, we're going to go for a ruthless love. We're doing this for love here, for the sake of balance of the greater whole. That's what Justice is supposed to do, right? Okay, then we have Flicker, which says, new rhythms are coming into your life now. You are encouraged to trust and adapt. That's kind of your wheelhouse, so we're gonna just take that as a nice reminder. And we have the Blue Jay, which says, the time is right to access and master your abilities. Do so with humility and control. Yes, I did not talk about the 12th house. Yes, we talked about the 4th and the 8th, and I completely just went on a different tangent. So the 12th house is where you naturally sit, and it talks about the unconscious, our intuition, our dream life, sleep state, and how spirit communicates with us. Okay? In some cases, it also refers to past lives as well, but I don't generally deal with that, so we're just going to take the other meanings for now. So Blue Jay is then indicating, it's not indicating that, but it kind of felt as though it indicated that there are some unconscious thoughts or like unfinished plans. Yeah, unfinished plans and projects. And this refers to latent abilities and talents as well. Things you've just never had a chance to express, So, for example, I have Libra in my 12th house. I've never had the chance to express my, diplomatic skills. I've had like leadership roles and whatnot, but like that was a completely different context. And even then, despite not having a very real role as such as a diplomat or whatever, related with Libra aesthetics and relationships or whatever, even though I did not have that, I still exercise that in all of my communication, right? So this is something that you're naturally skilled with, and you don't necessarily need a specific platform or relationship or a job or a space or nothing. You don't need anything when you have the 12th house. When you're sleeping, you don't need anything to dream. You don't need anything to have intuition, right? It's sort of that. You just come with it. You have the natural ability. So the Blue Jay reminded me of that ability coming to light here. Something is being revealed. You do have Aquarius over there, and with Pluto transitioning into that house, that's so interesting. I never thought about this for anyone else. But yes, Pluto going there says that there's much to be revealed regarding your latent abilities. And like I said, there is activation in the 8th and the 4th houses as well. So it's going to filter down. Okay. When we have a standalone 12th house activity, it refers to like other stuff. When we talk about spiritual things, you can only sense it in your sleep state or hypnosis state, for example. But when we have all 3 private houses being activated, it becomes a conscious thought. It is still private. It is up to you to take action, bring in the resource, like I said, but it is still building up from the inside out, and you're very sure of this. Okay, you're conscious of it, you're sure of it. It's becoming very, very clear what the next steps are, what your goals and aspirations in life are, what has not worked and what needs to be redone, sort of. We have the medallion coming through. Yes, you're fully in your mind to reach every room. The empty room. Okay, why did I say every room? Wow. Okay, so by every room, I think it meant that each space you want to be in, you can be in. Like if you want to be an artist, you can be that. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you can do that. If you want to be dealing with like HR or something, PR or something, you can do that, right? You can follow your goals and you can find it, because you don't need anything to make it happen, because you are enough. The empty room is literally that. Like, it's the universe. Okay, it seems empty, but guess what? We have every possibility of every kind of life that is available, right? So it's kind of limitless in the scope. And Pisces, you deal with that infinite realm. Okay, I can't explain this to you much better than you can intuitively understand, right? So the empty room, it makes me so happy. I don't know why. I'm like getting goosebumps and whatnot. It just says the whole world is open to you. There are a million possibilities open to you. So just to reach out and embrace whatever goal it is that sings true to you, okay, or speaks truly to you. You know it in your heart of hearts, and it'll become very, very clear as a result of this eclipse here. And anything you want, anything you ask from the universe, just ask it truthfully, as honestly as you can, stemming from your intention, from the basis of your desire. Go at it, build on it with more and more clarity and honesty. For example, if you say, I want to be a graphic designer, I really like it, then you have to also back it up with why. Okay, if you want to become a prime minister, you have to back it up with why, and then why, and then why. When you find the core reason why, that's when I think that's the ultimate clarity that you can get in like any situation. And this applies for like dealing with difficult circumstances in life as well, right? So yes, when you tap into that core, it is already here. Your dreams are being realized. You will find that you have all the answers. You have the gem. You've just become more you, basically. And this eclipse here is a fellow water sign. I didn't mention this, but fellow water sign indicates that it's working out very beautifully, very favorably for you. You can take the benefits of these changes and create a breakthrough for yourself as well. It's bringing you a lot of personal power. Okay, so that's what I have for you, Pisces. Thank you so much for being here. I really hope the reading resonated and that it helps you out. Let me know your thoughts. And if you want a personal reading, you can reach me via Etsy. The link is in the description box and the comment below. As I said earlier, please check out your solar eclipse reading. It'll give you a lot more context on everything that's happening here. I will see you some other time. Until then, take care. Bye.